Hey traders, if you start trying to buy the dip too early, this market will rip your face off. So the big question for us today is it time for you to start buying the dip? Hi, this is Dennis Wilburn, the AutoPilot Trader. It is time for our market review. This is the 21st of July. Let's get into today's session right now. Okay, let's get into today's session. And later in this video, I will show you exactly how to know when it's time to start buying the dip again. Just a real quick reminder that all the materials we do present are for training purposes. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. So let's go ahead and just take a real quick look at what are the markets doing. I want to start with the fighters, and we'll take a look at the SPY representing the, what we see here is one, as you can see, price action over the last few days is, well, after Monday's fiasco where we got the big sell-off, found support at the 8-day moving average and reversed off of that on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, pushing on to new highs. And so we are approaching a level of past resistance that is in this window right here. Let me blow that up just a little bit so you can have a better picture of that. Anytime you have a gap down or gap up, that represents either a level of support in the way of a gap up, but in gap downs, that represents a level of resistance. And so price action can move up into the level of resistance. The midsection of the gap is the highest level of either support or resistance, depending on which direction it's going. As you see, that's exactly, we're almost up to the halfway point. S&P doing well. Volume still not totally jumping in on this. However, what do we have? Finally, we have a series of higher low, higher high, higher high, higher low. And so we are basically continuing to push up higher. Now we are back above the 50-day moving average, all of that being very positive. What a pullback would look like in this particular thing once we get into talking about how to buy the dip. What about the NASDAQ? NASDAQ, similar type situation. We broke out above the downtrend line several days ago. The momentum has shifted up to the upside. At the same time, we are running into where momentum on the TSI oftentimes the price action will start stalling out. We have not had any indication that price action is going to stall yet. However, what we want to be doing is we want to be looking to the left. Look over this way. Do we have a level of past resistance where prices couldn't go any higher? Yes, we do. It's a different story, though, from here to here, because the moving averages are now acting as levels of support. Here they just, offered a little bit of support, but then we broke and fell down lower. So excellent looking pattern, continuing to push higher. The NASDAQ itself actually jumped onto the uptrend train a little bit quicker than the other indexes, in that this day right here, this was a Friday, this was the 21st of July. Intraday, we actually pushed up and made a higher high compared to this high here. Higher high, higher low, higher low, higher high. Continuing to push on up. Watch for stalling. In other words, for it to stall out and do a pullback. Hint, hint, hint. That's where we're going to be looking at potentially buying the dip. Okay, Russell, similar to type situation. We have broken up above the downtrend line. We came back and tested close to the downtrend line, and this may be kissing the downtrend line goodbye, and it's going to roll on up to past high. Similar type situation. It has past level, a ceiling of resistance right in about the 190 level to 189. And so it would not surprise me to see it continue to push up. But as soon as we start getting a rollover with the momentum indicator, in this case in the TSI, watch for it to stall out and do a pullback. Again, pullback to what? Pullback to a potential buy point or an action value zone for buying the dip. So that's what we've got going on with the indexes. As I said, right now, it's too late to get in for the long side, too early to get in for the short side, and which is my bias. My bias with what we have right now is to trade it to the upside. So let's go ahead and jump over into how do you buy the dip? Well, first, a lot of times people get in trouble trying to buy the dip when the index or when the entity they're looking at is in a downtrend. Wait for it to be an uptrend. How do you define that? Higher highs, higher lows. Wait for the pullback, i.e. the dip, and identify option value zone. In other words, where you want to buy it at wholesale. You have control over that. You can say, hey, I want to buy it off of the 20-day moving average, the 8-day moving average, or the uptrend line. Place your conditional orders with entry targets, profit targets, and your stop losses. So what does this look like? And let's go ahead and grab the drawing tool. So what does this look like in reality? Well, one is we want price action to have, let's say if it was coming down like this, coming down like this, coming down like this, to start turning around and going back up. Now, you'll notice that also when that happens, we will also get what? The moving averages will start rolling back up also. There's a moving average. Oftentimes, you can either use a Fibonacci for once it starts to turn up, but here we have a what? A higher high. So we have a higher high and a higher low. So once we start getting those in order, we can expect that to continue until it basically doesn't. It will stop eventually. And so at that point, what do we want to do? We want to basically be waiting for this pullback right here. This is what you call the dip. And then we wait for the dip back to a moving average or an uptrend line as we have there. And then we can estimate buying that level, but those are levels objectively identifiable. So we wait for the dip, and that is our buy points for buying the dip. What do we like about buying the dip? Well, one thing, we know once we get into a cycle of these pullback and then explosion, pullback and explosion, is that can often, you can count on that move there or count on the move at least back to the past high. And so we give them some really excellent ways to determine how, where to place our profit targets. And then slightly below that low is where we put our stop losses. And so the other thing about buying the dip that we like is it puts us closer to our stop. And there's the bell. Looks like the market is continuing to go higher. That's excellent. And so that's what we're looking at with that. We'll erase that. And I will highlight, and let me go back to what I had up here before, because I am not doing my presentation tomorrow for the Trade Your Way to Wealth and Financial Freedom. So here's where we're sitting. The active trend trading system is up 27% for the year so far. As you can see, we're beating the S&P by 43%. Very pleased with that. We continue to beat the S&P on a yearly basis for now we're going our 12th year. 11 of those 12 years, it's been by double digits. If you want to learn more about the AutoPilot Trading Service, there will be a link in the description for YouTube. And then I also want to show you just really one last thing of an example of buying the dip. And this is a trade that we provided to our AutoPilot Trading members. And it was to buy the dip on TQQ. And I'll blow this up a little bit. Over the week, okay, here is last Friday, the 15th. And over that weekend, I sent out my pre-flight checklist and with my flight strip for everybody. And I identified buy the dip into where? Into the moving averages. And sure enough, we were filled at 2606. And as we like to do, we take profits on the way, 10%, and then we're getting closer into the 20% range where we'll take a portion of the trade off of, and then we let the rest of it run. And so how did we do so far? We got in here at 2606. We took off part of the position yesterday, at approximately the 10% mark. And then today we closed at close to 19% from where we got into it. So another percentage, we will take off another piece of the trade, leaving the remaining shares to basically, if it wants to go on a 100% run, it has our blessings. So we will be watching that. But that's an example of what we do, or what I provide our traders every week. We have 7 trades, and that's great example of the pullback into the moving averages, even if it's intraday. And then we had our ricochet bounce off of that and explosion up to the upside. With that, I will basically say aloha. God bless everybody. There's the camera. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. Remember, no session tomorrow for the Trade Your Way to Wealth and Financial Freedom. Anyway, God bless. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll be chatting going into next week. Aloha.